very grateful to our MP for Bridlington and Ward's constituency, who was rushed from London today to be with us, Charlie Dewhirst. So thank you.
Thanks all. I appreciate we're already at 8 o'clock, so I'll try and keep this brief. And Andy's presentation was very, very detailed and covered a lot of the areas, the technicalities, and so thank you very much for that. When we got the news back on that fateful day, it was something that both from the blue and extremely disappointing for two reasons. One, it came against the backdrop of a period where I think we've made some progress. Things were generally looking up. We'd got the news about dentistry, we resolved some of the issues about primary care. The Trust was making more positive noises about the Bridlington Hospital site in general, so it was hugely frustrating to sort of take one step forward, two steps back with this. And secondly, then it felt like it was a complete fait accompli. The decision had been made. I only found out about it because somebody leaked it to me. There was no proper engagement process with anyone, either myself or the council. And it was clear to me that, as often with these decisions taken by the NHS, whatever they want to call it, consultation or otherwise, the result will still be the same. So we're extremely fortunate that we are here today with the closure clause. I think the closure came about, or proposed closure came about, because, of course, the history of the unit is a temporary COVID measure. I think those back in the back offices and the management took a look at that, so that's a cost saving. We can remove that. What they hadn't understood was that temporary COVID ward had morphed into something different. As Andy's just explained, it's the step-down facility, people coming out of Scarborough, York, back into the community. But challenges obviously exist because they shouldn't be there for an average 27 days. And that clearly exposed a massive issue. It was something we were able to exploit throughout the process, and making the case both to the Trust, to the NHS, the Department of Health, to anyone who would listen to us at the time. Really, the most important thing I want to say today is thank you to all of you for what you did. I couldn't have got that many signatures on my own petition. To get 6,000 people to sign that petition was truly fantastic. And all of you went around town gathering those signatures, encouraging people to do it online, etc., made all that efforts, because when I was able to go into the Commons that day to present the petition, it showed a real strength of feeling in the town. And the government has responded now, as we know. The government, in terms of the Department of Health and ministers, don't take decisions based on the ground here in Bridlington, but they have sent a message back to say that local organisations need to work together. So, as Andy outlined, the relevant organisations do need to come together. They need to present their evidence. We need a plan to go forward. Because what we do need is some form of step down. We do not want people in there for a month. That is not the purpose of the unit. So we all need to work together. We need to make sure the council's care packages are ready to go at the earliest opportunity. And we need to make sure, as we go forward, that we keep the unit in a certain guise, as a more temporary, not temporary, but if you like, fewer days in the unit for each individual goes into it. And we need to ensure, going forward, that the Hospital Trust comes forward with a really detailed plan for the site, for the hospital site. And I hope a really positive vision for the hospital site, so that we can hold them to account. Because ultimately, that's all I can do. I do not make any decisions about our local health services. What I do is represent your voice, shout as loud as I can, and if necessary, like in this case, get as cross as I can with the relevant people, and hopefully we'll get the right results. I would say I had the opportunity. The reason why I dashed was almost late this evening, because I stayed behind for the business questions in Parliament earlier, to make the point about Bridlington and Hornsea again, specifically in relation to Chris Whitty's report on health inequalities in coastal communities, something that he did in 2021. The timing wasn't ideal because we were in the middle of COVID, and I think a lot of that report got parked, but I will keep bashing ministers with it until they recognise the recommendations, implement those recommendations, and understand the challenges we have in Bridlington and in Hornsea and other coastal towns around the UK, and why that needs a unique focus, so the ICB can then be directed, perhaps given more resource for towns like this, so that we get what we need in terms of optimising our health offering. As you're aware, and this is not a party political point, we are likely to have a new Secretary of State for Health sometime the next week, and a new team of ministers once Mr Burnham becomes Prime Minister. So I will be engaging at the earliest opportunity with those relevant individuals to reiterate the point about Bridlington and about our coastal towns. So thank you everyone for coming this evening. It's great to see you.